We did not get into this because I'm trying to make Armstrong wait. But North Carolina went into Cameron Indoor and bludgeoned the Dukes. Just beat them up a second half. I was watching Baylor. I was a lot of things going on. I think may have been watching Kansas and Texas and at the Baylor game. I mean, they went in and ruined what to me was the most over-exaggerated exit of anyone I've ever seen in my life as a player and or coach. And I'm Coach K guy. I'm okay with him. I always thought, Duke got close and they couldn't win it. I know Baylor fans can't stand them because of 2010. I get that too. A lot of people don't like them, but they're damn good. Man, they ruined that weekend. They went in and just crushed the souls of the Dukies.
If you were going to make a propaganda film about Duke and you wanted to make sure that you could say all the great things, you would just have to film the entrances of the 96 former players. Look, there's Cherokee Parks and Christian Laettner and Nolan Smith and Shane Battier and Trajan Langdon. Jerry Seinfeld's here.
I'm okay with all the celebrities or former players.
But for that to be, for UNC to win on what was an orgiastic feast of Duke porn,
that's a good point.
For their fans, had to be great. Had to be great.
And then, then there was a post-game celebration, or at least they tried to be. And Coach K was not in the mood for that at all. He was so pissed. We're going to have Adam Lucas. Is that right? That's who his name is? Adam Lucas, who writes for North Carolina. And he tells a story about something that happened in the post after the game over near the North Carolina locker room that he had to help a family get in through security. That was fantastic. The handshake line.
Oh, my God.
My God. Juwan Howard and the coach at Wisconsin, Garb. Like Duke assistant coaches, they did not want to do that. They were not happy.
Yeah, Armstrong, I'm sure you enjoyed this thoroughly, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. This is absolutely beautiful. I mean, like you're saying, all the former players, like everyone who's ever been good for Duke basketball is in the building. Most expensive ticket in college basketball
Since
history.
the Super Bowl. And,
all this stuff, just Coach K, ESPN's Coach K Love Fest all day on TV. The pregame stuff.
Not all day. All week.
All week. All season.
It was, yes.
All season. And, this is the game. And for unranked North Carolina to come in and it was the second largest upset, I think it said, since 1990. Because North Carolina was it was like 11-point underdog. And to just win by 13 points and just embarrass them. And the last thing Coach K does ever in Cameron Indoor as a head coach is get on the mic after losing to North Carolina and apologize to the fans. But also I have a problem with the way Duke did it. I mean, I feel bad for the Duke players.
How about
some
the
of them
seniors?
are senior night?
Yeah, did they ever get mentioned?
I have no idea, but this is your senior night. You're the players, and you put all this pressure on you, and now you're going to be seen as the guys who lost it for Coach K, when it should never really have been about Coach K. It should have been about the players.
I don't know for sure if that happened, but I did see a column in which apparently there are 2 or 3 seniors, and that they basically they could have been in the crowd. That it was, and it's not, I don't think it's Coach K's fault. And then again, maybe the retirement before the season, we see that with athletes and others before. I don't know.
You can't, there's no way to say that it was him personally intentionally drawing attention to him, but when you announce you're going to retire before the season, I mean.
Oh, you're going to get like a pair of boots when you go to Wake Forest
so there's definitely a reason to do that. But I mean, you can't say anything that Coach K asked for it,
I mean, it's a great win for North Carolina. I mean, it doesn't get much sweeter than that unless it would have been for a national title or something. But that was pretty sweet if you're a Tar Heel fan. And Coach K, I'm not one of those that like gushes over him. Some people fawn over Coach K. And I grew up in the heart of Duke's glory, but I never went that way. I never jumped on that Duke bandwagon. I've just always kind of admired or whatnot from afar. Same thing with programs like North Carolina and others. But I obviously understand his impact and how big he's been to the game of basketball, especially in college. And so, the pomp and circumstance and all the fare from ESPN was not surprising. They do that for people, on occasion or people like him, big legends. We saw it with Kobe. We saw it with others in their, farewells. Dirk, I don't think really enjoyed it probably as much as others, but I mean, we've seen the whole announce before you do it retirement tour. So yeah, what a sour note. Sucks if you're a Duke fan. I mean, I don't relate. So I mean, that was brutal, and you could tell by all the tears all over social media on Saturday, whether it was clips from the game or actual Duke fans crying through their keyboards, which was obvious by some of the messages some of them were leaving. That was a brutal loss for that fan base. So tough deal, and the complete opposite feeling for North Carolina fans out there, and that's the rivalry. That's Duke was going to get their big fairy tale moment, and then the big bad Tar Heels were there to spoil it, and they spoiled it and ruined the happy ending. But Duke's season's not over. Still though, that was a punch in the gut.
They won the regular season title. Theo John played 10 minutes. He's a senior. Somebody on the chat room said none of the Baylor or Duke seniors play much. Mike Jones. It shouldn't matter. They should still be recognized on senior night, whether they're at the end of the bench and never get up off the bench. But he played 10 minutes.
Hubert Davis didn't substitute in the second half, which is unbelievably amazing that he was able to do that. And secondarily, there's this kind of, I don't know, internet chatter going around that Duke is a little mad that UNC didn't do anything for Coach K when they played there earlier this year, which I don't really believe, because why would you expect that? I do think that, Mariano Rivera's and Chipper Jones's like baseball retirement tours a few years ago made people think like, oh, that's what you should do, because the Red Sox gave Mariano Rivera a rocking chair made out of the bats he broke, which is a nice gesture, but it's also kind of a smart ass thing to do. Gave him a rocking chair. It's fine, and that's what they did. But I promise you, in college athletics, it's a lot different. Nobody at UNC is sad that Coach K is retiring.
Of course not.
No. Why should they? Thanks for the memories? No.
So what about a senior football? Of course, we don't know who seniors are anymore because of the extra year. And I even saw what good news for Nikki Collin in the women's program that Caitlin Bickle and Jamie Asbury are both coming back for another year. I do know this. In college, it does seem to be different. I don't know how many did Roy Williams, he didn't have a farewell tour. He retired after the season was over. That was even kind of, maybe there was whispers of it, but he just gone, right?
No, that was just out of the blue, gone. And he announced it on April Fool's Day, and everyone thought he was kidding.
Joking, yeah. And I'm not saying I'm trying to think of other college coaches that we had some sort of farewell tour, and I'm sure there have been some. I just can't think of any.
Well, how many are on the level of Coach K?
Well, maybe
there's
3,
like
5,
a Bobby
7.
Knight, Dean Smith. There's like very few of those guys. I don't have a problem with the retirement announcement whatsoever. I mean, if that's what you choose to, it's your career, your life. Do whatever you want to do. Who cares? And if anything, if you had a problem with it, then laugh at it now that he lost his big finale, and you can crack on that. That's the double-edged sword of announcing it prior to actually doing it. But I don't think it's a big deal. He did an announcement prior.
Mike Bean, and then we'll have Scott Drew in the next segment. Do notice at Kansas, nobody who you no matter who you are, starter or walk-on, you start on senior day. Did not see that with Duke because, as you mentioned, Theo John played 10 minutes and there may have been another senior or two. Baylor women, even though they're going to beat Tech by 20 or 25 or whatever, the seniors started. The ones, even a couple of them have decided that they're coming back for another year. So that's one of the things. And, I know it's going to be a tough emotional game, and I got lost in the shuffle. I'm a Coach K guy. Always like Duke over North Carolina. When again as a kid, like you like either USC or UCLA, Michigan or Ohio State, Texas or Oklahoma, right? That's kind of Florida State.
I was the opposite.
Yeah, and so and some love North Carolina, but I always loved James Worthy and Michael Jordan among some others. So there's never anger towards either one of them, but you just kind of pick one of those or the other. Celtics, Lakers, right, Paul? Now. When we come back, Scott Drew, announced as the Big 12 Coach of the Year, gets a share of the Big 12 regular season title with Kansas, and this happened in warp speed the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll discuss that with Scott Drew, men's basketball coach at Baylor, next on SicEm 365 Radio.